Okay, so what I want to talk about right now is I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you a few things, and I got to be careful what I say because this is a live show. This is on YouTube, and I very much value my channel. So I'm just going to show you a couple things here, and I'm going to let you decide what you think. It's going to be like a little mini show and tell. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to show it. But let's get to the history here. No, that's not what I want. Okay, so what this is going to be about is a post yesterday. A post and a little bit of news. We actually talked about this on the show yesterday. But let's start with this. Let's start with this. Okay, so again, I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to watch it. Do you see the title of this video? The Queen shows Donald Trump where to walk during the inspection of the guard. So did that look like Trump was showing her where to walk? Okay, so that's the first part. That is the first part. I don't think he was showing her where to walk there. Although that's how they spun it. I don't think that that's what was happening there. Okay, let's check out something else here. Bring this up. See that? Trump to Pope Francis after Vatican meeting. I won't forget what you said. Look at that picture. Look at that picture. Okay, so that's another one. All right. So yeah, yesterday, or in the last couple of days, we watched a video, and I'll just bring it up quickly because it's only 20 seconds long here, and I'll start to explain what the hell I'm talking about here, because you might be a little bit confused, but that's okay. Let's watch this one.
And tonight we're getting some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor. Right.
But more on that detail with the panel.
Okay, I don't know if you know quite where I'm going with this whole thing, but it might start making some sense right away. And I'm just going to share one last thing here. Oh, it looks like it's very laggy here. And I don't know if that's I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but anyways, I'm going to show this right here too. The last piece of the puzzle. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump shares an artificial intelligently created photo on Truth Social of him overlooking a mountainside with a Canadian flag waving. Okay, so again, I'm not going to get too far down the rabbit hole here, but for the people who are living in the future, a couple months ago we watched about a 45-minute documentary on this. It didn't have anything to do with Canada, but Canada is very much directly tied to the Queen, the royal family, the Magna Carta, right? And so the documentary that we watched, it focused on three things: Washington, D.C., Rome, the Vatican, and Buckingham Palace in London. So those three things have historically been, of course, in a little pyramid, but those three things have historically ran the world for the last 100 beyond years. And so you saw how Trump treated the Queen there. That was not intentional, or that was intentional. That was not happenstance. He wasn't showing her where to walk there. He walked right in front of her and stopped, and she was lost behind him. But that was intentional. Trump went to the Vatican a couple of days later, met with Pope Francis. Did you see his face in that picture? And we know how Donald Trump feels about Washington, D.C. So what's been coming out here with Trump, with Canada, with everything around the tariffs, the borders, the 51st state, this picture of Trump with a Canadian flag, I really don't think that it's just all a coincidence. I really don't. And I could be wrong about that. This is just my opinion. But from what I've seen, like, Trump doesn't really share anything without purpose. And unless you've been really paying attention to the things that he does and says and the words that he uses, then you might miss this. And you might think that this is just all a joke, like CTV does. The title of this interview, or that news piece, was called "Trump Making a Joke." Trump is making a joke about Canada becoming the 51st state. So that, to me, I mean, from my experience in the last couple of years here, whatever the news says, I usually assume the exact opposite to be true. So if they say it's a joke, if they say he was showing the Queen where to walk, if they said, "I'll never forget what you said to the Pope," I automatically assume that the opposite is true of that. So I don't know what's going to happen. But the one thing the other thing I wanted to mention with that too is that when Tucker Carlson came here to Canada, I think he was in Alberta, might have been BC, but he did a sellout show. The Liberals lost their mind. They were trying to get Tucker deported and banished from Canada for spreading misinformation. But Tucker said that he said these exact words: "We're coming to liberate Canada." He didn't say "we're here." Like, he didn't say it like metaphorically, like "we're here to liberate Canada." He said, "We're coming to liberate Canada." And I don't know about you, but I think that Tucker and Trump are fairly aligned and fairly running in the same circles. I mean, Tucker spoke at a lot of his rallies when he was in the process of running for president. So I'm very excited to see how this plays out. It makes so much sense to me. And I know that there's going to be a whole bunch of Canadians with Trump derangement syndrome who think that this is going to be like a nightmare for them. But if you really think about it, if you compare like the US Constitution to the laws that we have, we're still under like British Crown rule here in Canada, which is insane. But Canadians' lives, the only thing that they would notice is everything would be a lot cheaper. There wouldn't be this tariff bullshit, sending energy back and forth. We could actually utilize our natural resources that we have here in Canada and in the US. And if everybody was working towards the same goal and you had an adult in the room, this would be the new powerhouse of the world, for sure. Like, I don't think anybody would deny that. The amount of natural resources and energy that we have here that has not been tapped into and it has not been run properly is off the charts. So not only would everything get cheaper, not only would energy be unlimited, abundant, and turn us into a prosperous country again, but we would have way more rights. You look at the Constitution compared to ours. Like, ours was completely trampled on during the pandemic. Completely. They made it into a joke. So the Constitution, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, all of these rights that Americans have would flow into Canada. Like, it just makes so much sense. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do really believe that there is a purpose behind the surprise Mar-a-Lago meeting between Trump and Trudeau, that Trump intentionally put Trudeau right beside him at the table. And I think it was Howard Lutnick that shared the picture of them, but it was Howard Lutnick, Trudeau, Trump. And again, everything that he does has a purpose. And if you hear that and you don't believe me, that's okay. You haven't spent enough time listening to his rallies, listen to his speeches, the clips. If you actually listen to what he says and look at the posts that he makes, everything is for a purpose. And he wouldn't just share a picture of him standing on a mountain with a Canadian flag right beside him just for fun. So again, I'm very excited to see where this leads. I think it would be the best thing that could ever happen to Canada, personally. And I know that there would be a lot of people who disagree with that, but that's okay. If they have an opinion that they disagree with me on that, then they can just start their own channel. That's the beauty of it.